No, we're not. Well, and welcome to Daytona International Speedway here today for the Racers Elite. I'm joined with or by Brandon here today. Brandon, off the top of your head, what are you looking for here in tonight's race?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm not 100% sure. I've never driven this car, being the Gen 4 here at Daytona International Speedway. So I'm going to be learning as these drivers learn throughout the night on how these runs are generated and how quick this car really is. And I'm excited. So I'm not really sure what to expect on my part other than a lot of education, just the same as the drivers.
Pull up the starting order here right now. It is, if I get to the very top of it, I'm at the bottom of it right now. So qualifying first is Brandon Biddy, second Aaron Marquis, third is Steve Vest, fourth Brett Bray, fifth Matthew Monick, sixth Brian LaPratt, seventh Mike Fudge, eighth Truth Hoke, ninth Terry Fennell, 10th Austin Norris, 11th Kirby Wainscott, 12th Jeffrey Goodpaster, 13th Danny Jackson, 14th Frank Chavez, 15th Dave Nall, 16th Pete Polini, 17th Alan Carter, 18th Chris Goxol, 19th Blake Davis, 20th Andrew Teff, 21st is Troy Thomas, 22nd Stephen Blevins, 23rd Timothy Eisbrin, 24th Steve Castle, 25th Trevor Fettig, 26th was Jack Kelly. That is all the drivers here tonight. Waiting for them to pull off of the grid here. Waiting for no one else needs to grid, so I'll give them all a paint refresh right now. Hey Brandon, so kind of looking at last week, last week was a weird finish. Do you think that'll happen again here tonight, or will it be relatively calm with these Gen 4 cars?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be calm at all. With what we've seen last week and a wild finish, I don't suspect tonight's going to be any different. I mean, this car is super fast, and if I know anything about the car, its draftability is going to be somewhat awkward, I think, too. So, yeah, I think we're in for a wild night tonight, Bryce. I'm super excited about it, nonetheless. But yeah, I think it's going to be a wild one again tonight.
I don't know how it's going to be. It's 100 laps, so anything can happen. I know with these cars though, you cannot really bump draft at all just because of the front end where it's kind of pointed down a little bit. I know in the ARCA cars it used to be way worse than what it is now, but hopefully these guys can get that sorted out. Leading the points right now, I need to pull up the standings for this Truck Series Super Speedway. So Tef sits on top. Tef, Norris, and Hoke are locked in. So is Kirby, Wayne Scott. Bubble battle right now. Eisbren is 5 above. Nelson is 5 below. Moniak is 6 below. Goodpaster is 9. So it's tight around the bubble right now for these guys.
I'm excited. This is going to be a good race, Bryce. This is going to be an amazing race.
Sorry, I had to go over there and shut my door, Brandon. I did hear you say something, but pace car is getting ready to pull in here as it heads down pit road as the green flag is in the air. We are underway here from Daytona.
Yeah, and a really good start, and an even start too, right? That's by design, as the leaders have to start on the green here, I believe, in the Racers Elite. And right now we see side by side all the way through the field as these drivers truck through turns 1 and 2, headed down the back straightaway here in just a moment.
I think these guys pretty much stay kind of calm with each other early on. I say that, and they'll probably just throw that out the window. The 30 of Biddy's is going to stay glued to the bottom. He's waiting for that 06 to come and help him. The 58, or the 48, is kind of looking around in that SpongeBob paint scheme there. That's Jimmy Johnson paint scheme. I think he actually did run that at one point. But most of the guys are down low on that bottom line, and that's where I'd tend to be more than anything else. I wouldn't really want to move up off of it.
I tell you, Bryce, yeah, the bottom line's going to be the place to be, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be fascinated all night long by the sound of these cars. Just the nostalgia behind seeing these cars here on the iRacing surface is absolutely amazing. The sound of these cars is awesome as well. And it takes me back into my, what would it be, early 2000s area, late 90s, 2000s area, I believe, with this car. That, man, it just brings back a lot of good memories.
And NASCAR doesn't run the pipes that they do. This is, I believe, the whole reason that these cars sound like that is because they ran an X pipe, and it made the exhaust just kind of, it had that signature flyby sound when these cars went by you. So when people think about that, that's the noise they think of is, Daytona and those cars just flying by you repeatedly. But that's not anymore. They still zip by you, but it's not this same sound as it used to be with these cars anymore.
Yeah, very, very distinct sound. And I tell you, the one thing I'm watching those, I'm seeing a lot of patience out of these drivers. And so I see a little bit of shoving, a little bit of bumping here and there, but I'm not seeing a lot of aggressiveness. And I think that's due in part to what you talked about earlier, Bryce, is you don't get too aggressive with the bump drafts, just with the front bumpers of these cars. So I'm excited to see how this race plays out. But right now, a lot of patience being shown by these drivers.
Yeah, you can see they're all keeping a pretty relative gap between the cars. It's not like they're right up on each other's bumper like we normally see. Normally, the guys will be right up on them, and they're tucked up directly behind them. Right now, we're seeing probably half a car length to sometimes a full car length left between these cars. I think that these cars actually do get a pretty good run more than anything else. You can actually pass them on your own. They're not so reliant on air that you can't get around somebody, but these guys are still racing pretty clean early on. That middle, or that top line's built up a little bit more momentum now. They're getting some more cars up there with them, but they're going to need a lot more than that. Actually, they're pretty evenly split. The 41 of Marcus he's staying on the outside pretty well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was listening to the sound of the cars. I just can't get over it, man. I tell you this, you talked about being able to generate runs and the car not being so aero dependent on, on the draft of having a couple other cars to work with. It takes me back to 2001 July Daytona when Earnhardt Jr. was able to go in and secure the win with teammate Michael Waltrip right behind him. I seen Junior pass a lot of cars kind of on his own with the way that the runs was able to generate. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that we see quite a bit of that same kind of style tonight. That would be absolutely amazing. But right now, everybody doing a really good job staying single file, just getting a feel for the car, I would probably say. But I'll tell you what, that inside line's pushing pretty aggressive, Bryce.
Looking at Fudge. Fudge was getting a really, really big run, and I think he actually kind of bailed out of the throttle a little bit because he could have went up to the bumper that 48, and I think at last second he decided not to do it. I don't know if that was a voluntary decision that he made or if he just wanted to do that, but I see the 06 will duck out. That's Steve Vest. Looks like he doesn't want any of this to, right now to deal with.
Yeah, it doesn't seem so. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Bryce. And this is not something that you see drivers do now on Saturday or Sunday. You don't see these drivers drop to the back because track position is so key. I think that, though, that he's going to be able to get away with this is Steve Vest. And I think as long as he's able to stay connected to the draft, he'll be able to generate some runs and ultimately maybe later on in the race position himself maybe at a shot at a victory here in the Racers Elite Friday Night Super Speedway Series.
I was going to say, you talked about him keeping pace. Well, he is off pace by at least 10 miles an hour, and he's dropping back pretty fast. So I don't know what happened, if he had some sort of issue, but he was way off pace, and he tucked in right behind him as soon as he had a chance, but it just did not work for him. So he went to the back of his own volition, but evidently it did not pan out for him this time at all, as the 30 will shoot down. Hello. Biddy will go through the grass, see where he can merge up on the track safely if he can. Must have gotten a bump coming off of 4 there because he shot through the dirt.
He did. And I can tell you, the guys that paint the Daytona Speedway logo out in the infield is not going to be happy with that because he did truck it right through the infield. But what a beautiful job. It looked like he got the back end of the car kind of jacked up, so maybe a bump going wrong. But here comes the 06 of Steve Vest. So now maybe these two will be able to kind of maintain some speed. We'll just have to see. I'm not 100% sure, Bryce. Maybe you would know. But I don't know if 2 cars are really going to be enough. But maybe enough to sustain. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to pick up some speed, but they're going to need somebody else to go with them. They're going to have to somehow get a third car. Like, they're going to have to hope that maybe the 92 or some of these other guys back here have an issue and it breaks them up so they can catch them, because they're not going to be able to gain much. If all, it'll stop the bleeding a little bit, but I mean, they'll still be dripping after that. So we'll have to see what they come up with. There's a lot of movement back here around the 21 of Nall. Like, guys darting in and out of traffic.
Yeah, that's something that we see with this car. As you can see, that's going to be Andrew Teft up there in the 97. He's not going to be in the 98 tonight. He's going to be in the 97. I seen he put a message out, and he said, I can't find good paints for a 98, so he's having to run a 97 tonight. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that in and out, Bryce. We've seen a lot of that over the last couple of weeks. Drivers being very aggressive in and out of the draft. And so I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight here with the Gen 4 car.
These cars are definitely a little bit more maneuverable. They don't rely on the air as much. And you were talking about 2001. I wasn't even born during that time. 2 years before I was even born. I was born in 03, but I have kind of heard Dale talk about that and asked my dad about that. I think they actually watched that. He was like, there is no way that car was not jacked up and everything. But I remember watching a video, Junior said that car could go anywhere he put it, which seems like Earnhardt was just very good at Superspeedways. He and his son were both good at them. The driver that I like today, it's like the hell spawn for him. So I'm not too fond of those tracks because of that.
Who's your driver now?
Well, I grew up a Gordon fan. Then when Gordon retired, I didn't watch for 5 years at least. I got into it a little bit when Elliott won a championship, but now my driver's Larson. So, yeah,
Yes.
he does not fare very well at super speedways. Even though I did go to Atlanta this year and somehow watched him take third, which was surprising for me to see.
Yeah, us Larson fans do not enjoy super speedway racing. Let's see, it would have been almost 2 years ago. No, in fact, it was last year, Bryce. I actually made the trip down to Talladega, where Larson was able to score a top 5. So that was impressive. But yeah, you're making me feel old, man. Telling me you wasn't born until 2003. I tell you that.
Yeah, I'm only 22, just graduated college. So I was young. I remember first race I actually went to, just surprisingly, it's actually where I got tinnitus. Yes, I'm 22 and I have tinnitus. It was Casey Kane's Bristol race win when Gordon was leading and he had a right front tire go down and went up into the wall, and Matt Kenseth plowed into the back of him. That was the first NASCAR. No, actually, it was either that one or Martinsville. I think it may have been Martinsville is where we went to go see my first race.
2 very good tracks to visit, especially for your first one. But I'm gonna tell you what, these cars are starting to get a little bit squirrely, Bryce. I've been watching the last couple laps and we've been talking, and these cars are well, that was luck for the 2 car. I'm not gonna the 2 kind of washes up the racetrack, and the 7 had one of those blinking moments and disappeared, and I think that just saved what could have been a big wreck.
Excuse me. Yeah. Someone always has those internet connections and they blink. Like that is like the heart drop. You're like, oh god, I don't know where they went. And people, it's so hard racing with crappy internet. I had CenturyLink for so many years and it was god awful. And then we got point broadband, which is fiber optic. It makes such a difference. But normally if these guys do have connection issues, they will genuinely tend to stay out of the way. They'll realize it and kind of pull up. But that is one of the most nerve-wracking things at super speedways, more or less, because that car is going to pop up anywhere. You don't know where they're going to show up, so you can send them off your nose and you'll have no idea, as the 50's getting a little bit of a bump there as it goes on.
Yeah, those 3 cars on the outside, right? The 50, the 48, and the 7. They've been working that outside line for the last several laps and have actually made a pretty good distance up. I mean, they're going to be able to probably pull even with the front group. But I'm going to tell you, I'm keeping an eye on that 2 car. He's just not able to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack. He's kind of been able to, I mean, there it is again. You can see he's up more towards the middle of the track. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on that just to see. Maybe he's struggling with some handling. I wouldn't think tires would make a difference, but maybe in this car it does.
I could tell, just even though I got like 1 second off the corner there, he's loose. I'm watching it. Let's watch it again because I could hear the tires. It's not turning in the front end. The tires it's like lifting off the ground. He's off the throttle. See right there, he is very, very loose. We only caught it for half a second coming out of 2, but looking at it, I could hear the tires were not, well, it's weird to describe. Like, you do iRacing for so long, and it's a sim, but you can feel what the car does without actually having the sim wheel in your hand if you do it to a certain extent. I don't know if that's just me, but I could like feel the car get light, but I could definitely hear the tires too, that he was up out of the racing surface. So he is loose getting into the corners.
Yeah, and it is possible, but maybe the tires do play a factor, especially with this car, the way that it generates runs, the horsepower behind it. I'm really starting to see these cars kind of, in and out, a lot of zigzagging kind of motion. I'm starting to think that at this point in the race, we just completed 16 working lap, now number 17 of this event, that the handling is starting to become an issue because these cars are really starting to spread themselves out, Bryce, and I think handling might be something we get to talk about later on.
We'll just have to see. The 11's doing it a little bit too, and I almost wonder. Go on board here. Trying to listen to what the throttle's like on these cars. I'm gonna go quiet here because I'm gonna try to put myself in the driver's seat just so I can get a feel of it. I don't think it's so much in the rear. I think it's the front. It's tight loose. Looking at it, because he's trying to grab the wheel, and it's like the front. I can hear the front end's turning, like right there, like that correction. He's loose getting in, and then he tries to put more wheel into it, and when it bites, it kind of loads it all up at once. It's so weird to describe, but he's definitely. These guys are definitely dealing with handling issues now, so we're gonna have to see who's got the better handling car here.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I mean, the 48, I just watched the 48, Bryce, and what a big bobble in. But, yeah, I think, I just wonder, is this going to allow maybe the outside line to be more of a factor?
I don't know. Like, I mean, you race in real life, I don't. But anybody who does iRacing, you know, running the bottom at any track, you're going to have more wheel into it. The car's going to want to go around more. Running up higher, you're not going to have as much wheel into it. You can get back in the throttle a little bit. So it may help to run up against the wall a little bit more or a little bit higher on the track just because of that. We'll just have to see what these guys do. Is the 7's actually going to go to the lead now, but the 37, the 11 may be actually able to do something here. See, they moved up to that first line. That dark yellow line that we see across the track. So we'll see if they stay there or not. I think they will.
Yeah, I think so too. I think right now, those three cars, I watched the 37 and 11 push the 7 out to the front. I think the 48, the 37, 11, I think they'll be able to run pretty decent lap times out there on that high side. Now they're going to have another 3-car pack join them. That could become the dominant line throughout the later portions of this race. Man, these cars are handling so ill handling right now. These drivers, they got their hands full, Bryce. They got to.
I can't remember who said it, but in the words of that Darlington race, oh, these cars are handing terrible. Nah, they're handing great. Can't remember who said that. That's when Craven edged out Bush there. Someone is way off.
I do remember that race. Yeah.
I don't know who that is. That looked like the 51? Yeah, Steve Blevins is all the way down there. Oh, they're going to get in the wall here soon. That 37 is dancing up there. He's going to, that 11's going to spin him here if he's not careful. That was close. I thought he was going to wreck him there for a second. That was very, very close.
There's a saying I try to live by, Bryce, when I run super speedways, and that saying is don't push the pusher, right? And so, yeah, the 11 got in there. The 37 got a little bit loose. It looked like through the center of the corner, and the 11, you know, was really right there on the bumper. And so that's actually going back this lineup a little bit, but
that was
we've seen some big moments out of these cars, Bryce, that we know for sure these drivers just they're not comfortable right now. At least I don't think they are.
That was not a good corner there at all. That 37 got really, really high. I thought he was going to go in the wall, and then when somebody gets in the wall, it's like it slows you down 20 miles per hour immediately. I thought he was going to get ran over from behind, but it looks like he was able to luckily keep it up under there with him, but that was almost bad for him. Very, very bad.
We'll see Andrew Teft. He's going to pull out and try to help the 13 in this outside line, but we see that outside line starting to generate some momentum back towards the front is the 48, 37, 11. You know, we know Teft in the 97. He jumped out there to help.
Looks like it's a 17 ducking out of line, and he'll merge back in. Hopefully he doesn't merge in front of the whole field. Like he won't. I don't know if he's got an issue or something. The 2, though, that definitely broke him up, as they're going to have pit stops here. 22 laps in. That's a little bit earlier than what I thought they would pit. Maybe did they go a little bit less fuel than normal? No, that's really short. As 7 almost turns at 37 as he tries to get into his pit box. They're going to run into each other. It's in the 37, a little bit deep into it.
Yeah, I kind of got quiet there, Bryce, because I was trying to figure out what the 17 was doing, and you got Bray, Fudge, Fennell, Norris, Goodpaster, Yesbrin, all on pit road. A couple of other drivers. There's several cars on pit road at the moment.
Let's see, the second group come now. It was. That feels like that was early. It's only 24 laps into the race. I guess they have a lot less fuel than what I thought they did. It said that is way too deep. 13. I was gonna say you are gonna miss the entry of pit road. That will be a black flag for him. He was way too hot coming in.
Yeah, he was in full sin mode when he come through there, and he definitely did do that. So 24 laps in, we're going to be able to take note of this because this is going to tell us that at least with this group. Now let's see what Teft, Thomas, Markey, Hogue, LaPratt, let's see what all those guys do. Maybe these guys choose to run it a little longer.
I don't know. It's just odd. I just find it odd that they're pitting that early. They're going to stay out at least this lap. I just think they're going to maybe try to run it to lap 30 so they can go 30, 30. They're going to have to pit again. Ooh, that's going to be weird. Yeah, you've got to run it even longer. Ah, crap.
Yep. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, that's it. They need to get past lap 30. They need to go to at least, if you can get to 40, that's really stretching it though. If you get to 35, I think you'll be fine, but that just does not seem, viable. I mean, you're literally coming down, and oh God, this is going to make the pit strategy awkward. So they go to lap 26. That 3 did not get slowed down in time. Yep, I knew it. Troy Thomas, black flag there, too fast entering. I was going to say he was coming in hot. So we've seen multiple guys get tagged with penalties here getting down pit road.
Yeah, I think the first thing that the first thing we do when these drivers hit pit road, Bryce, is we look over at the timing and scoring to see whether or not we get a black flag, and when we see those drivers hauling the mail in there, and sure enough, Thomas had such a heartbreak last night. Thomas had a really good run going last night. I was able to be a part of that race up in the commentary booth, and had a really good race going last night, and then it kind of fell to pieces on him, and it looks like that may be some trouble for him again tonight. So
yeah, the thing with them is that I didn't even have to look for those two. I knew they were way too deep. They were flying in there. I was like, they are going in way too hot. That is not going to end up well for them. And then, of course, they got tagged with that. I was like, yep, I'm not surprised by that at all to see them get bit with that.
I'm just watching a little bit here and learning. I'm seeing how the draft is starting to work with this car.
How is Tef so far ahead?
Did he do a fuel only stop?
No, he was 12 seconds. That's tires and fuel, but he was out really. Unless his group pushed him that far ahead. That's I don't know how he did that. It's odd to see. I do want to see what they run later on in their fuel run here. So they're running 47s. The fastest time was a 46.4. I'm not going to look at that though. I'm not going to base it off of that. However, I'm going to look at something else. So 47s right now. I would think that if they fall off half a second, then that'll tell me something, that the tires do matter here. Like Matthew's going to try to pop out and get the lead on his own. I don't think he's not going to be able to do that. I was going to say he needs to tuck back in line. That was going to end up really bad for him if he did not get back in line there. The 48 and the 92. On this bottom line, that 48 keeps popping out, seeing if he can get a run. He's not able to really get. He's able to get one right now. But the 50 will need him to kind of back up to him and get the draft off of him.
Uh-oh, one in the wall.
It's the no bull number 6. Good pastor. Looks like he's able to keep it up under him. See if he can regroup. Maybe this group behind him can pick him up. I think he'll be just fine. He's going to lose his main pack, but he's not going to lose complete help. That'll be good for him.
So I kind of feel like this race has changed quite a bit from what we've seen. We've seen early that these guys were able to stay a little bit more closer to each other. And looking at it now, these cars are kind of spread out in terms of the draft. Now, we know that the green flag stop it shook everything up. We got multiple different packs of racers on multiple different areas of the racetrack. So
there's really only 7 cars that are with each other. Then we've got 2 little small groups. We got a small group right here, another small group, and another small group, and then another small group all the way back. These guys were 15-second pit stops, 43 seconds down pit road in total. So I wonder if they took a full tank of fuel, because that would change up a lot of stuff here. So that they could have short pitted this first one and are trying to play the fuel game now. So we'll have to see if they are or not.
yeah, very well could have been. I would assume that they took 4 tires. At least I would have thought they would have. With a full tank of fuel, we've seen the handling start to become an issue. So I would have thought maybe a 4-tire stop with some fuel would have been the way to go.
Yeah, and I was, with the fuel too, that'll keep some weight in the rear end, so that'll stop them from getting loose. And I mean, maybe as they go on, it's raising the rear end up out of the ground. It's making them just get loose overall. I don't know. I don't know. It's odd to see.
It is, because 24, 25, and 26 laps seems really short on a fuel run with this car. So I would have thought maybe they would have been able to run a little longer. Maybe they're planning on a minimum 3 stops, 4 stops.
I wouldn't think you'd 4-stop it. That'd be a lot. I mean, unless you split it 25, 50, 75, I don't know. I mean, well, if they come down lap 50, then that'll tell me what their strategy is, but that all depends. The caution can change everything. And just going to hop up to that high line. He's going to have the 41 of Marcus decide to give him a little shove. Matthew will throw a block now. Decide that he wants to come up there and stop him.
Yeah, that's going to allow Teff really to be able to get to the back bumper of that car. Now, let's see how aggressive Teff wants to be here. I would think this outside line is going to be able to pull this inside line. In fact, they will. 48 of Matthew, he'll be able to lead that lap. They're quickly approaching this little 3-car pack in front of them rather rapidly, I think. So that could shake up the way that this front pack actually races here in the next 5 or 6 laps, because they're catching these guys here pretty quick.
They may catch them before this. No, they're not going to catch them before this lap is over. They might take them only 2 laps to get up there, because they are catching them at a pretty high rate of speed. Fastest speed this race has been 206 by Chavez and Vest. They both hit that speed. The 97 and the 50. We'll see where this group decides to go. If they stay on the bottom, that's going to hurt Teft. If they stay up high, that might help the 48. He'll actually have a way to get around him. That group will stick to the bottom. They may duck out on this backstretch here. They're going to stay high, so that's going to help the 48. With 41 and Marcus will go to the inside and try to make the pass here now.
Yeah, I see these guys are starting to jockey for position. There's a lot of movement within these front cars. I think right now, though, the outside line has more speed than the inside line. Now, these three cars have since moved to the outside, so let's see. Hopefully, they're able to work through this traffic.
53 will stay high. The 3, they just hold their line up there. They should be fine, as a 48 almost gives them a little bit of a nudge. The 14 staying high. The 3 is staying high also. 14's actually in the wall a little bit. The 3 almost runs him over as they'll get by that group. So no harm, no foul with them, but they'll be able to tuck in behind. And now it's going to be a fight for who's the first one to lap down between those guys. And that could get heated.
That very well could get heated. So that's going to be another race inside this race if we're able to catch a caution. But I'll tell you right now, Truth Hoke with a big move pushed the 48 all the way out, was able to clear himself of the 41 Marcus, and then just shot to the bottom like a rocket. He wants to take control of this race now as Truth Hoke's looking to take over the top spot.
See what Truth can do. Truth, he's got help behind him, but that 48's got the 7 behind him. Austin Norris, and the 48's been able to kind of control both lanes too. He's not been, he's not had a lot of issues here at all.
No, and again, I tell you, both of those cars, both the 48 and 7, Matthew and Norris, they were able to clear by themselves this inside line. So I feel like right now the outside line has tons of speed in it, or at least it seems like to me it does where we are in this race. So I think a couple cars, really, if they wanted to improve track position, get a couple cars to go with you to the top, I think that you could do it.
You're all going to run a train down the bottom. See if anybody tries to mount a run. And no one will do it going into this corner, so it's a little bit odd to see. I thought they'd try to duck out and make a move, but I guess they just decided against it. It's just not worth it at the moment for them.
Yeah, so this entire pack, we know it has some lap down cars in it, but there is several in this pack, and right now they've all elected to run the bottom, hop in single file, maybe try to save some fuel.
They're running, I don't know if they're saving because they're running, near their fastest lap of the race. They're running 46.65 is the fastest time for Matthew up here is a 46.49, and he ran a 65 last lap. So they're not laying off for sure. They are definitely getting after it. I don't think they're saving.
No, now we can see Andrew Taft moves up to the outside line. Now let's see if he gets any takers to go with him. That would have been a prime opportunity for the Bud car right behind Taft there. And the 50 was that the 50 of Terry Fennell, I believe. Is that who's that is?
Yeah, he thought about it, then he just kind of was like, I'll just go back to the inside. He didn't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, and again, it might be too early, and I think we're let's see. I think we're going to be within about 8 or 10 laps before when we start seeing these guys hit pit road again. Look at this move by the 7 of Norris.
Looks like that was just a power move by him. He flat out used his speed to get by him there. He didn't even have to deal with anything.
The 48's in the wall.
What's wrong with Matthew here?
I mean, he lost every bit of track position he had. He went from leading this thing, running second, almost to the very end of this line. And we know there's lap cars in there. That's devastating for the 48.
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that. That's weird. No, like, I don't see. He just kind of just pulled out, and it was just kind of okay. Go on by. I don't know. That was weird. That was just really weird.
Yeah, it looked like to me when the 7 of Norris was able to clear, he kind of went to the middle to try to generate a run, wasn't able to, and just then pushed up into the outside wall. I'm not sure what trouble he may have had.
I didn't really hear. I didn't really see him, like, moving the wheel around a lot or anything like that. It was kind of like he just pulled out of the way and was like, okay, I'm just gonna let you go by.
So I think we're going to start to see some action on pit road here pretty soon. I'm going to say within about the next 5 or so laps. I think the next 5 to 10 laps is going to be the pit window for most of these guys. Now we know Teft and a couple of these guys in this group here actually ran a little longer than a couple of other groups. So this green flag cycle here will start to shake a lot more things up.
Yeah, it'll be close here. As the fastest lap was just set by Good Pasture at 46:09. I want to see if that changes the strategy for the 48 on when he pits. I think he'll still come with everybody else. I don't think he'll come down pit road alone. That just doesn't make any sense to see him do that. '55 to 41 to 97. On his second, third, and fourth. Let's see what he can do. Seven though, he really did have that power move to the outside.
He did. And that's the first time throughout this event so far we've been able to see a driver just kind of power move it himself.
Everybody really has gotten spaced out now. This is got really one main group, and then we've got another main group that is 17 seconds back. And they're bleeding time. They're running 47 12s to 46 9s, 8s. So they're losing about 2 to 3 tenths a lap. They just do not have the speed that they need to keep up with them at all.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna we're gonna see some more of that again, right? Once these guys hit pit road for the second green flag cycle of this race, and so far we've been green the whole time, so I think that's going to shake some things up again. We've seen some troubles getting on and off pit road within that first green flag cycle. I suspect we're probably going to see the same again. So I think we're going to have some more shakeups once the pit window open, and I think that it is right now as we work lap 46 coming to 47.
If we give them a normal amount, we'll see them at 52. Norris might be in this lap. He's staying low, but he is leading this group, so that's why he's staying low. See what I think he's coming? Yeah, I was gonna say, I was looking at it, and he's gonna bring 2, 3, 4, 5 other drivers with him. Can the 37 or 92 get slowed down in time? It looks like he did. He was coming in a little bit hot, but he was able to get slowed down in time. So I'll leave Hope, Marcus, Teff, LaPratt, and Nall out there.
Yeah, so this is going to shake everything up again. So right now you got Hoke, you got Marquis, you got Teft right here. These three cars together that was in inside that last pack when those guys come down pit road. So I think Tef was one of those. He was one of those guys who ran a little bit longer. In fact, the top 4, 5, 6 cars all ran to lap 20s. What does it say? 26. Lap 26 before they hit pit road. So that tells me they could possibly get to lap 52 before they have to come down. So they might actually run this a little bit longer. Say 4, 6, probably about 4 more laps.
Yeah, if they can make it to lap 51, they can one stop it from there. They'll have to pit one more time around lap 70, and then they'll be good to go, as Polini has come in alone. So that is not going to be good for him. Another group, though, is catching them very, very quickly. It's Hope, Marcus, and Teft. That second group got formed up very, very fast, and they are on it, trying to catch these guys up in front of them so they can get back up and even, because they need to get even with them. They're going to struggle here if they do not.
So this is led by the 14. Yeah, the 14. Thomas is in that group. So all this pack here, I believe, is a lap down. That's slowly starting to catch Hoke, Marquis, and Teft. So they might be able to unlap themselves, but I think the problem is going to be is they're going to need a caution to be able to cycle out in front of these cars to absolutely 100% get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting for them. I think they're going to be stuck laps down throughout the whole game, or not the game, the whole day. It's so hard. Just getting back on the lead lap. Once you're lap down, it kind of cascades, and it's just so hard to deal with. But Truth, Aaron, and Andrew are still running that same fuel. This second group behind them is losing them a little bit now. They're about 4 seconds behind. They can go about another 2 laps for sure, and they won't have to worry about their fuel for that long. I really do wonder how long they can actually go on fuel. Because I'm just kind of guessing and kind of just throwing it up in the air and saying I think this is what they can do. Behind them will lose a little bit more time again. Not losing a horrible amount though, but they are losing some.
So now this is allowed. Okay, so then now here comes Hoke, Marquis, and Teft down pit road.
Teft got in. Hope got in a little bit hot. That'll bring in this second group behind him. You're not going to short pit this one either. You're gonna take full tank of fuel. We'll all roll to a stop here. As Hope just misses. No, he didn't. 41 didn't miss it. 21 didn't miss it. I think anybody missed it. Tef's was a little bit quick. His was 11 seconds. I'm almost wondering if some of them are not taking a full tank, because we got 11-9, 11-7, 15, 12. He had a faster, longer overall time on pit road, though. Have to see where these guys merge out. I think they'll merge out in front of Eisbrun, I think.
I wonder if it's just fuel. Are they not taking tires?
No, I saw some of them get tires. I do know that for sure, but I don't know. It's weird what some of these guys are doing with strategies. I'm trying to guess, and I'm way off on some points of them. I'm just like, I don't really know at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so now we're going to have tons of drivers they're going to be spread out everywhere around this racetrack. So you can see the 92 in this group has caught has caught Teft and Hoke in that pack. So yeah, that's Jesper Norris, good pastor. So
Oh, we got a caution here. Hold on. That's for Fudge. Yes. Oh gosh, please do not hit him. Please do not hit him. Please do not hit him. And it looks like he'll tow instead. As... Oh, what? How did he blow up? Was he?
I mean, it's just like the car slam, just locked up brakes. It looked like. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, he blew up, but I don't. Oh, he shifted. He downshifted somehow. He hit his shifter, or something like that happened because he went into third, and you know, going into third from fourth at a super speedway, that'll do it for you. And that just blew up the motor on that car. I was so confused what happened, and evidently that's what it was.
Yeah, because it looked like that car come to a very quick and abrupt stop. So now this kind of shakes a lot of things up, because this is actually going to allow a few of these drivers to get back on the lead lap. I think that's going to put us at 18 cars potentially back on the lead lap. We had several of these guys a lot of, you know, a couple laps down. So we might see some of these guys get their laps back, Bryce. And
now you got to think that, you know, what do you do fuel wise? Like, how are you going to play that strategy game here? I think that changes a lot of stuff for him.
yeah, I mean, this is kind of a weird spot to get this caution, right? We're completing 54, what will be 55 laps within this race. So we're going to see all these drivers on pit road, much like we are right now, as the 92 kind of slid his box. But we're going to see all these guys on pit road. They're going to take tires. They're going to take fuel. We know that that's probably going to put them roughly, what, Bryce, say 80 area or so.
So if we go back green, they'll be 84 to 85. Some guys stayed out. I would not be staying out. I'd be pitting. I feel like that's a horrible idea, is to stay out here. You're gonna be off on strategy, and that's nah. I would not feel comfortable at all doing that.
Yeah, this is quite the call to stay out, especially if you were on the lead lap.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like staying out here, because with Pratt, Castle, Matthew, they'll be able to go to 79, maybe 80, maybe 80. I'm giving them, and that's being overly generous on that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's especially for Matthew, because it looks like to me, Bryce, tell me if I'm wrong, but the last time that he was down on pit road was lap 47.
Yeah, it was 47. I just don't like that. It's Fudge. Yeah, Fudge just got the meatball flag. I was gonna say, I saw that and I was like, but he's got a meatball, and he does. It's just blowing up there. But I don't know. Like, I would not feel comfortable staying out here one bit. I would want to come down pit road.
And that might be, yeah. And in fact, that's what these guys are going to do now. So they've waited till the end here to go down and get that last bit of fuel, because I believe the lights will go out on the pace car, and they will. So good call. I think that's a better call. You didn't have the track position anyway. You were kind of at the end of the longest line. So good call, right? Go down now, top that fuel tank off.
Yeah, I top it off, because you'll get about a lap or two more fuel than everybody else. So it's not a bad thing to do. That's what I actually tend to do that when I do some open stuff at larger tracks. What is Hope doing?
Well, it looks like he's trying to.
Okay, that was odd. I guess that was his spot. And I don't know. That's okay. That was weird.
The 14's a lap down.
Oh,
That's
that's
what it is.
why. Okay. I'm gonna say he hasn't dropped then. And that's very, very easy to forget that you need to let people by because you're probably doing something else. I text and drive when I do iRacing under caution because I get bored. But he probably just he's dropping now. So it looks like he just completely forgot. Which there's no harm, no foul to it. He's doing it before they take the green. Lights are off. It's gonna be the 101. I actually have that. I think I have that die cast somewhere. Somewhere in my room, and among my 30,000 other die casts of Jeff Gordon that I totally didn't buy off eBay in the Bristol race. But pace car will pull in here. 57 laps left. Gonna guess pit stops are gonna be around lap 84 to 86 for these guys, and that will get them to the end. But Hoke and LaPrat, as the green flag is in the air, we are back underway.
We are back underway, and what a heck of a jump, really, for LaPrat there. I tell you, we ran about 55 or so, 54 laps green, so cautions tend to breed cautions. Let's see how clean these drivers stay. But Hoke Teft lined up on the outside, going to have a heck of a run down the back straightaway.
This 101. Oh, shooting it to the inside as the 21 thought about it for a minute, ducked back in line. Teft is all up on the bumper of Hoke, trying to give him a shove by. It's not working right now, but he's still trying to get it to go. Have to see how that goes for him.
I tell you, that outside line just generates such a run. 3-4 cars is all you need. I don't think you need much more than that. And it just generates such a heck of a run off that corner.
Yeah, those guys definitely do get a pretty good run when they're not falling off. But when they fall off, they definitely fall off a cliff, it seems like, for them. I don't know. So these guys that pitted, you know, do you want to lead the group now? Do you want to? Well, now they can all make it on one pit stop. So I don't really think it matters if you lead the line or not. I think that it will. Yeah, I think it doesn't matter on that. There's no guessing on who can make it.
Yeah, I think you're right. We've kind of put it all together. We think now one more stop will get these guys to the end. So now I think it's just going to be a battle of track position, trying to position yourself, you know, somewhere towards the front line of this group. As the 47 looked like he was trying to clear to the bottom, didn't have room, had to go back out to the outside line. He in fact got heavy into the wall the last lap. Big wiggle though out of the 21.
He's almost came down and took out the whole field. We've yet to, knock on wood, we've yet to see the big one happen, and I think we're getting ready to see it happen here with how much these guys are moving around. I really want to see, once these tires wear out, how they really start to handle, because that will get incredibly interesting. Because if they start moving around a lot more, then that will be a interesting thing to see for sure.
Yeah, we seen early in the beginning stages of this race that the handling started to become an issue, and so I think we're going to see that through the latter part of this run. I think that's going to put, as we see another car into the wall. I can't tell who that is up there though. I believe that's not Matthew in the 48.
Looks like it. Talking about this Lexan car right here.
Yeah, the black one on the outside there. He was heavy into the wall.
That's the 17 of Bray is who it is. I think he had issues early on in the race too. I think think he was one of the cars that pulled out, and he was able to, and he wasn't able to get you know, tucked back in line because of that. So that's something interesting there to keep an eye on. Because he's had issues before this race.
So now the outside line's a little bit more formed. They're going to work to the inside of this lap car. This is where it gets a little sketchy. That's just going to break that line completely up. So
Six and the 21 are they're trying to make it work up there alone, but it's just not working for him right now at the moment. 47 looks like he'll be coming with a little bit of help down the backstretch. It looks like he's got some other people coming with him. That looks like the 14. Yes, the 14 and the 11 giving him shot after shot. So they're bump drafting hard. You don't want to be doing that sometimes. You'll send each other around if you're not careful.
yeah, the 11 just stuck it in on the 14 here. They're 3 wide back here. Looks like the 11's he's aggressively trying to side draft. He had room to get down. He's going to stay 3 wide.
Trying to find the 11. The 11's not the 11 this race. It's the 707. The 14 almost just wiped out everybody else behind him. I think it's Chris Goxel. Yes, it is. He's the 11 this race, but he's a 707. The one foreign person in this race, the British. Run it back. I'll dump your tea in the harbor again. Anyway. Starting to see him move around a little bit more here. We saw that early in the race, and that's when it got interesting. That's when guys were able to pass each other pretty easily. So I want to keep that in mind, that this could end up being what happened before.
Yeah, that outside line is all but dissipated at this point. I mean, it still has 3 cars in it, but right now it's headed the wrong direction. So
yeah, they are not getting any help up there at all. That 21's going to turn the 6 here in a minute. He's not careful. He's getting dangerously offset behind that 6. I mean, dangerously offset. That 47 is going to be stuck 3 wide here on the 707. Who is who in this race?
So the 11's Blake Davis, but I'm showing him to be a lap down. Uh-oh. Who was that?
Looks like oh gosh. Oh no, don't do it. 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 Oh, that almost ended up bad. That was Eisbrun. I was looking over to see who so it is Blake Davis. So it is stamped right. I was so confused. For some reason, when I clicked the 707, it went to him.
So you got Davis pushing on Goodpaster. Now you got Troy Thomas lined up with him. And in fact, they've been able to make up a little bit of ground, has these 3 cars here on this outside line. So I'm starting to see a lot of movement, Bryce, though. These cars are slowly starting to lose the handling, and we're starting to see a lot of movement.
These guys are probably on about 12 lap old tires. I wouldn't think this early on the tires would start to wear, but it could be wearing here pretty well. And these guys are running some of their fastest laps right now. These guys have actually ran their fastest lap of the race at the moment. Fastest is Goodpaster with the 46.09.
Yeah, Goodpaster's coming towards the front, man. They've got 5 cars lined up out there now. They're slowly making progress. It'll take them a few laps to get there, but I think they'll be able to do it.
.41 is stacking up behind the 21 here. I'm going to be worried if they run into the back of each other here too hard. We've not seen bump drafting happen yet, so I'm wondering who's going to be the gutsy one that does it. see what they do. See what they do now.
I tell you what a recovery though for Troy Thomas in that 3 car.
Hold on, that 11. There it is. I saw it coming. There goes the 6 on his side. Good pass for the 47s involved. I was watching it, and I was trying to get to the 11. I was trying to find the camera, and that brings out the second caution of the night. That was good, Pastor and Davis. Davis was being really aggressive there, and he went 3 wide, and it came back and bit him. Go back and look at the 11 here. I feel like if you're Davis, though, that's... Well, no, the 6 is lead lap. I feel like... Was he lead lap? Yes, he was. I feel like if you're the 6, you're going to be really mad at the 11 right now. 11 shoving the 6, goes to the outside, outside again. Taps him twice, almost sends him over. The 47 gets turned. 14 gets turned. Yeah, I have a feeling the 6 is not going to be too happy with that right there at all. Oh, gosh. Now let's make it interesting again. Here we go.
Yep. Yeah, because we're gonna be just shy of the pit window. So we're gonna be completing what's gonna be lap 69, working lap 70. So now it just got interesting again.
I don't... You stretch it, you're going to be stretching it really far. I mean, you are going to be really, really stretching that fuel.
Well, the most we've seen so far has been, what, 26 laps?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to get the green with 73, so you're asking an extra lap.
I think you're going to have to come back down and top back off.
Yeah, that's going to be the smart thing to do. And I'd almost wonder if you try to sit in your pits as long as possible and then get off pit road as late as possible just to get as much fuel in it. I don't know. I really don't know. Ah, crap.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come back down top off, right? I mean, that's gonna be the only choice to even have a remote chance to even try to get to the end, and even then, that's gonna be a far stretch. The most we've seen so far has been 26 laps, so. I think we could see some guys run out at the end unless these guys slow this pace way down to try to save fuel.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to drop maybe a second off the pace to be able to make it on fuel, possibly, for about 4 or 5 laps. I don't know. We'll see who comes back down. Only got 2 that topped off. Oh, God. They're going to have to hang back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to the finish now.
Yeah, How weird. Hmm. I hate strategy to a certain extent. Just being the sim racer, sadly, I never raced in real life, but being the sim racer, knowing the fuel, you've got. Do you try to stretch it? Do you hope for another caution? What do you hope for at this point? It's kind of a just it's up in the air what these guys are gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to know, right? That's the rough part for us is there's no way to know the strategy. Now we know if they get a caution within the next, say, 8 laps, we know they'll be able to go to the end. Again, cautions breed cautions. That was only the second one of the night, and still yet we've not seen, quote, the big one, knock on wood, like you said earlier. So
Well, they only need one caution, and then they'll be able to stretch it to the end. So it's not like they need multiple ones, even though that's not going to hurt. Now, if they go overtime, I think they may run out, but we'll just have to see. His pace car does pull off here. Poke and Teft bring them to the green as the green flag is in the air. We are back underway here.
we are back. Green flag racing. Hope Teft's going to be able to lead the pack here as Teft's going to clear to the bottom. So those two guys have been working well together for the last, say, 20, 25, 30 laps. They've been linked up here in the front. So now the 41 in this outside line's lost a little momentum.
I think got somebody's trying to merge down to the bottom. I don't know how in the world the 50 just fit down there. That 30 must have let him in. That 41 has got no help. And I think everybody's going to move to the bottom. I want to see if they slow down the pace. That's the main question that I've got to get answered here. If they slow it down, then I'll know what they're doing for sure.
So right now that bottom line still a lot more formed than the outside line. So we'll know this time by, I think, Bryce, when it comes to lap times, kind of where these guys are, at least with the pace.
So they ran a 53, but that was getting up to speed. So we'll see what it is now. I thought they were going to be saving fuel, but they may just threw that out the window because Tets hopped up into that high line. He's trying to get it going himself as he will take the lead now. So they run a 47.36, about a second off the pace. So if they do it again, that means they're saving fuel again. I give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt that maybe they're still getting up the pace on that lap.
Yeah, and it may take a couple laps to get these cars fully, up to speed where they want to be. But right now, Tev comfortable leading this line. And I tell you, Andrew does a really good job with these fuel mileage type races. He does. He really does. He does a great job. And so see what the lap times are this time.
Oh, I just set on my headset. That was great. So they run a 46.8 that lap. So they're slowing it down a little bit, not a lot though. They picked it back up as soon as they dropped it. Or I would really prefer to be one of these cars in the bottom line, probably about 4 or 5 cars back, just knowing that I'm saving fuel compared to everybody else.
I'm watching too. I'm not sure how much. I thought maybe with the pace slowing down that we would see that outside line generate a little bit more speed, run more consistent with the inside line. so far we've not seen that. That last time by was 46.7. So
Matthew just ran the fastest lap of the race, 46.04. So it's, I don't know. They're definitely slowing it down some. Now, I'd almost guess, you know, let's say you are on the edge. Do you just decide to hit now? Like, as soon as you get on the edge of the window and take that little amount of fuel? Or do you just try to run it to the end and stretch it?
I think you got to run it to the end and stretch it, right? I mean, right now we just got the race underway just a couple of laps back. So right now the potential for a caution is going to be the highest that it's been, at least on these restarts, you know, throughout the night. So I think right now you gotta match what everybody else does. I feel like, I mean, if you come down pit road, you've kind of put your eggs in that basket. But if you stay out here, you're amongst the group, you're amongst the pack, and if a caution comes out, you may be able to miss it, you know, the wreck, if there is one. But then if you run it long and there's not, well, everybody's in the same boat because they all just came off pit road at the same time. So I think you got to run it as long as you can.
Just see, it's definitely picked up front. That outside line with the 7-11 of Trevor Fettig is not able to really mount anything right now going down the backstretch. They're trying though, but see, he's getting a pretty decent run now coming down. He's shot out of a cannon, even though he's not actually getting shoved. I just wonder if that's not saving tires, because, you know, we've saw handling has been an issue. So I wonder if those guys, you know, when they're passing them, he's pushing his tires really hard, and the guys on the bottom are just still saving theirs. But I don't know. But that 7-11, he's definitely getting going now.
Yeah, and very quickly is that outside line approaching Teft and company on the inside line. So right now, there's no saving with that group. We know that group was laying down some pretty good laps. In fact, I believe the last time by, Trevor in the 7-11 just laid down a 46.51. So just a couple of tenths off of what the kind of some of these guys' best laps been. So right now, Trevor and this group on the outside, they're not holding anything back.
They're definitely pushing hard for sure. That 14 has a little bit of a bobble. You see the 11. His 11's almost about to cause another wreck here if he's not careful. Davis is about to wreck the 14. But I think the 14 may also be a little bit loose too, because we saw him catch it middle of the corner. So I don't know if that's all on the 11 there. Kind of quick to blame him, but probably don't need to do that.
I tell you though, that was a beautiful job done by the 14 right there, Danny Jackson. I do show him to be a lap down, but I'm gonna tell you, what a beautiful job to keep that car somewhat straight and not wrecking this field. That was a phenomenal job.
I want to see if this 48 can make his way up front. We saw him be pretty aggressive getting through the field, kind of making the moves on his own. Hold on, we might have a wreck here. The 11's gutsy. Can't tell if that 14's moving up. That 14's trying to block the 11. He does not want him to get around him. At 14, though, he's very darty. He's not very secure in the corners.
Yeah, and I think that's why we see, in fact, he's going to bail out and he's going to the bottom here. And I think that's why we've seen him trying to throw some blocks and keep the 11 around, you know, from passing him, is because he was just uncomfortable where he was with the race car. The 97, 711, 41, 37, 55, 11s, all pretty steady. I mean, their cars ain't, you know, darting around, you know, like the 14 was. So
it's not bad by any means, but this 97, he's just kind of holding that. Ted's been holding the bottom line the whole entire time. And the 7-11, he's been dedicated to the top, and so is the 37. So they've both, you know, been loyal to that line, trying to get it to work. And they've got it to work to a pretty good extent. That 7-11 gets a pretty big run down the backstretch. And looks like the 41 and the 55 are both keeping a pretty even gap to Teft here most of the time. So I don't think they're really too keen on bump drafting yet.
I mean, the 41 is able to keep a pretty solid gap between himself and Teft. I don't want to give Teft the commentator's curse, but I also read earlier that he's not finished any worse than third on Friday night in the Superspeedway series. So trying to keep that streak alive is Andrew Teft in the 97, but he's got a host of cars around him looking to get a win.
Tell you what, we got a Carson Hocevar up here. I don't know if he's going to be very liked after this race. But we're going to find out here. Is that 30? Look at this. That 7-11 is getting a huge shove from the 37 now. See if he goes to the bottom. He will right now. See if he goes back up or not. Don't think
so
he
here's
will.
So here's an interesting fact that I'm watching right now. Is the 37, the 11, the 14 that was a part of that outside line. We know the 14 ducked inside. Those guys are a lap down. Although the 48 right behind those two, the 37-11, is on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten weird. And I wonder if this 48, though, if he's making his fuel last a little bit longer, because he pitted on lap, what did he pit on? He pitted lap 71, and that's the best of the guys that are... No, really, that's the best of the guys that are actually in contention. We got two other guys that are on the lead lap, but they're way back there, so they're not really in it at all. So he could be stretching his fuel right and back where he is, and I don't think that'd be a bad decision by him at all either, doing that.
So that I think that's why we see both the 37 and 11 racing so hard, is because they're a lap down. Now, if they can clear the 7-11, much like the 37 has, and a caution comes out, this is going to allow these guys to get back on the lead lap. So that tells me why those cars are racing, those drivers are racing as hard as they are, Bryce, is to get back on the lead lap. But now, if you're the 48 right there, you kind of want them to move out of the way so you can control the line, I would think. But these guys are trying to race for a lap back in the event a caution comes out.
That can be good and bad, because I don't know. Some guys, to get their lap back, they will kill anybody that they need to. This 37 and the 11, though, it's going to be interesting between those guys. And it really depends on if these guys behind them want to shove at all. Because right now, if caution comes out, the 11's going to get it, but the 37 might get it coming off this corner. And if this 7-11 wants to push, then he's going to push him. But if the 7-11 wants to, save fuel, he's just going to back off of that 31 and save fuel. And that 31's begging to be pushed, but he just won't do it.
Well, I mean, if you're the 7-11, there's no sense in this. And again, allowing these guys to clear out in front of you right now, no harm, no foul. Now the race lead has kind of changed, because now you got the 48 out there. You got the 50 it's still on a lead lap. I believe the 1 and Steve Castle's right there. I believe he's a lap down. But now the race for the lead is the 7-11 and the 48. But to try to unlap themselves, the 11 and 37's done a really good job. So they catch a caution now. Both of those drivers will end up back on the lead lap. This is an interesting turn of events. Now this helps Teft and the 7-11 there, Trevor, helps those guys, because now they'll be able to save a little bit more fuel drafting in line.
Yeah, and I really wasn't even paying attention to their lap times. They're about 7-8 tenths off of their fastest lap of the race, so they're definitely saving as much fuel as possible. So they don't mind these guys getting up there and leading the pack, because they know that they're not actually in contention for anything. So we'll just have to see, what they do later on.
Well, this race is very quickly winding down. We're going to be coming to what I believe 11 laps to go. So yeah, this is 89. So 12 laps, I believe it is. So
11 laps is what I have on my end.
got you. Okay.
I always think that I don't think these guys that are like these lap cars that are back here can make it to the end. It'll be weird if it comes to who actually finishes second in the line, because I don't think that the lead lap cars will be very kind to those lap cars because they need to get out of the way. Troy almost tapped the 38 out of the line. Thought that was going to send him around right there. That was very, very close.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking at. Oh, I'm watching this 48, Bryce. When do you show him to be on pit road last?
I have lap 71 for him. We got Thomas in the wall up here. This could... no, looks like he's fine. I don't know if he just had a little bit of a bobble there, but I have lap 71 on the 48, so he's the best on fuel up here with these guys.
Gotcha. Okay, because I show him 62, so I was wanting to confirm. All right, so that being the case, then yeah, he's going to be in a better spot than most of these guys around him. So Teft moves to the outside. He's going to be fighting for the lead here with the 7-11 of Trevor. So maybe Teft has saved enough to get to the end here.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you could save for probably about 3 more laps, and then you can, jump out of line. But oh no, there he is. Okay, for Teft, this is kind of weird now because I would have stayed in front of that 37 because you control both lanes now. You got a lap car behind you and a lap car on the bottom line. It's not like those guys are going to hopefully try to get around you really aggressively. But now this has really gotten weird with these lap cars up here.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a strange race even from the get-go. 24 laps in, we've seen cars on pit road. So, these guys, the 37, the 11, they're racing hard. They want to stay out in front of the 48 and the 97 in the event of a caution. 100%. That's why they're racing as hard as they are. Now, if Teft is able to clear the 37 and put a couple of lap cars between him, the 48, the 7-11, and 50, that's going to put him in a pretty good spot as we're under 10 laps to go.
I would get up in front of that 37. I think that's the better option because he seems to just be a little bit more powerful, and you are leading the best line. It's Teft's call. I don't think he can get up there now. That 11's not really giving him a lot of help. Which we saw the 11 be aggressive and make some questionable moves. We'll see what he does now.
Is right now you got the two leaders side by side, separated by a couple lap cars, but I agree, Bryce. I think the outside line is where you need to be. I think you need to, if you're Teft, I think you need to clear this 37, jump to that outside line, understanding he's no threat to you at this point, right? He's a lap down. So if you're able to get out there and hold that position.
Oh, there we go. The 37's around the 97. Looks like he'll be fine. That will bring out a caution here. Don't. Oh, gosh. Everybody's wrecking now. Coming off the tri-oval. Oh, the 48 just tags the 37. That sends him around. What happens with the 50? 50 of Terry Fennell looks like he gets turned somehow. I don't know how he gets turned. Oh, he lifts up and he gets ran over by Hogue down to the 7-11. The 38, Arca breaks it. And then looks like that was all from there. And then the Eisbrun comes and flies in there. Probably had no brakes. Has it locked down already. Just tags him. Now, this will get him to the end, but the question is, do you pit for tires? Because we saw tires matter.
Yep, tires has mattered. So now the call. Here's the thing, right? What do you do when you come to pit road? I mean, we're going to be under 5 laps to go. Probably a green-white checker when we go back green. So what's going to be the call? I can tell you if I'm 10th on back, I want to take tires. Now, if I'm up front, probably going to be a stop and go.
I would almost think that you need to, like, I don't know. I think you can take right side tires and no fuel, but I mean, if you're taking right sides, you might as well get a little bit put in. It'll be interesting to see what they do. We can only guess. The drivers, they're the ones that make the choice.
They are the ones that make the choice. Now, I tell you who this benefits, though, is the 11 of Blake Davis. This is actually going to put him back on the lead lap, it shows me. So, that being the case, all that fighting for position up front amongst the leaders is going to pay off because he's now been able to unlap himself. Let's see if we can catch what these leaders do here. So Hoka stayed out.
It's like everybody else came down pit road behind him, though.
So Hoka Norris has stayed out. So has the 47.
The only thing I can think of is that these guys just want to be leading a line, but they feel much safer up there than they do back behind them.
So Hoke, Norris, Pellini, Biddy all stay out. Those 4 guys stayed out.
I got some in my eye real quick, but we're gonna really see if they, you know, if fuel does matter here now. There's not gonna be a guess on fuel. Sorry, not fuel, on tires. But we will go on mute here before they get the green, as I'm trying to get something on my face.
Gotcha.
And we are back. Pace car pulls off here. This will be I think, actually official green-white-checkered attempt, as they had a little bit of a wreck, which delayed the start here as the green flag is in the air. We are back underway here. The 7 jumps down to the bottom immediately in front of the 47. Front 3 stayed out, and I almost wonder if that caution going a little bit further will mess with them, possibly. We'll just have to see, though.
We will see, but they may be able to save a little bit more fuel that they would have needed for this green-white checker. Now, they would have burnt a little bit, but right now you got Hoke, Norris, Pelini, 1, 2, 3. You got Biddy, Wayne Scott, Teff looking to chase down this group as Teff leads that outside line.
I'm expecting Teff to get up here. There goes the 30 and the 10. Does the 7 go up the block? It looks like he's not going to. He's going to stay with Hoke on the bottom. Saw Biddy lead early on, and he kind of fell back a little bit. He's going to try to power around on the outside in that Ford Taurus. As they're going to come to, I believe, the white flag here. It will be one more time around here. Next flag ends the race. As iRacing doesn't throw cautions on the last lap, sadly, which is good sometimes. Here comes the 10 of Wayne Scott on the outside. Power move. The 55 and the 30 make contact. They're going to wreck behind. Hoke is going to not be able to save it. Now this is going to be a weird finish. What in the world is going on? This is like last week. They're bumping down the backstretch. Chevy versus Ford. Wayne Scott versus Biddy. There's a tire rolling down the backstretch too. Oh, and Wayne Scott comes in front of Biddy. Now can the 101 catch him? What in the world is going on? And this is, okay, this is just free-for-all now at this point. Terry Fennell's got it. He takes home the win. I don't even know what to describe that as. Terry Fennell comes from, I don't even know where on that last lap. I don't even know how to, that finish was awkward. But he'll take home the win.
Yeah, and our second place finisher, Bryce?
Oh my God.
Blake Davis in the 11.
Hocevari Jr. here.
My dude was a lap down.
I know people will be so mad at him after this race. He's racing aggressive. I don't know what just happened that last lap. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt to touch it. Our dude in the 50 brings a clean race car home. He's going to get the win here on a Friday night Super Speedway series.
And we'll just watch him burn it down now. The wrong place to do a burnout, bud, unless he's going to do it coming back across the start-finish line. Right, while he does his burnout, I'll go to blimp static camera here, and we'll pull up the race results from whatever we want to call that. As it'll bring me back up to the top. So we'll bring in third place driver in Troy Thomas here. Hey Troy, this is Bryson Brandon in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Hey, I got you.
So, what just happened there at the end?
I have no clue. They went 3 wide in front of me in turn 2, and then that was a big wreck. So you just dodging cars going down the backstretch. And then they wrecked coming out of 4. So I tried to go low to miss the car. I did not do a good job of doing that. Just hit him head on. And just took my 3-wheeler and finished line 3rd. So
yeah, that was a race for sure. That was weird to see. But, how was it for you overall, though, before whatever just happened at the end there happened?
Oh, the car was good. In the first pit stop, I got caught speeding, and that kind of put me behind and kind of fought there. And then got the lucky dog, and then got a little damage. Had to fix that, but you shoot your typical plate race. To be honest with you.
So how do these cars handle? Because it looked like they actually did have a little bit of handling issues as the run went on. Did the tires start to wear out, or did the rear end just start taking off? Because I could definitely see, me and Brandon could see it, that these cars were moving around a little bit.
Yeah, the tires, there was some tire wear, especially the left side, which is weird. The left wore more than the right did. So there was some tire wear, which is why we was squirreling around a little bit. So yeah, we was all surprised about the tire wear.
And so how did that play into, the factor there towards the end of the race? Were you going to pit for tires? Were you just going to pit for fuel? Like, what was going through people's heads, or what was going through your head?
Well, I was going to get some damage fixed. And I said, well, I'm here. I'll just put some tires on and see what happens. So, you couldn't tell by the way the car looked at the end, but I was putting tires. I was already at the back anyhow, so I had nothing to lose.
I mean, evidently it paid off for you. I'm trying to find the standings here. I literally had it pulled up. Here it is, league standings. So you were sitting...
I was like 28 up or something, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were 23 up, so that probably puts you a good amount. So,
23.
how does that, does that kind of comfort you, and that we're kind of a little bit into the season and you have a pretty decent gap above the cut line?
Yeah, I think the playoffs start next week. I think this is the last race for the playoffs.
Oh, I did not know that. I was going to say I didn't see that there.
I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Don't quote me on that.
If it is, how do you feel about your chances in the playoffs here?
Oh, it's like a reset, basically. Yeah, tonight was the end of. Yeah, this was the last regular season race. So next week the playoffs start.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can actually commentate.
Reset, my friend.
Yeah, hopefully I can actually commentate over the ending, because I just kind of said, well, Fennel wins it. And I don't even know what to say about that. But before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank, any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
You guys for putting this on, and Andrew for everything he does. Our teammates, Chicken Coop and Misfits, that was all in the room tonight. Truth, Andrew, and Kirby, and Aaron, and all of us. Jesse, I hope you're watching, buddy, and my wife, of course, for letting me do this. So we'll go get them next week.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go, but good job coming home with the third place finish tonight, man.
Thank you, sir.
That's Troy Thomas. We'll bring in the second place driver, and Blake Davis. Hey, Blake, this is Bryce and Brandon in the booth. You got a copy, man?
I do. I can hear you.
So that was a interesting finish. What was going on from your point of view there? Because I didn't even know what to say at the end of that.
So I'll say that I knew that I needed at least a top 5 tonight to become not tied for the race and for the race for the championship, and I knew I had to do it, and I knew I needed to be aggressive. I probably was a little too aggressive, but it ended up working out for me in the end. I don't know. My hands are still wet right now, and I haven't washed them. So if that tells you anything.
Yes. How hard were these cars to drive? Because it looked like as the tires wore out, the handling went away and people started to wash up and they were getting loose off the corner and everything else like that.
Yeah, man, I feel like going into the corners, if you didn't enter on the right spot, the cars just pushed up, and that really gave me opportunity, because I would just wait until the car in front of me would push up, and I would drive it down under them, hoping they wouldn't come down on me. And like I said, at the end, it seemed to work out for me.
Yeah, it definitely looked like some people were having handling issues, others weren't. But what was going through your head really that last restart, knowing that it was an unofficial green-white-checkered attempt there, or I think it was an official one. But what was your whole thought process those last 2 laps?
My thought process was, man, I just got back on the lead lap, so I was like, man, I got to make a move here. If I'm gonna run up front, I have to make moves. But then in the back of my head, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if I'm too aggressive, I'm gonna be taken out with the rest of the pack. So I knew there was gonna be a wreck, so I kind of just laid back a little bit and watch 2 or 3 cars ahead of me and see what they did. And I picked Terry and drove with Terry through the field. So yeah, it was definitely a crazy last lap, to say the least. I'm just glad I made it through.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my girlfriend Emily. She watches every one of my streams. She supports me pretty heavy with the iRacing thing. I want to thank my team: Terry Fennell, Brett Bray, Barry Nelson, Tim, Alan Carter. I just want to thank them. Without them, I wouldn't have had the pushes to get where I was. So that's all I need to thank. I appreciate you guys for putting the race on, and thank Andrew.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go, but good job coming home second tonight, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. Y'all have a good night.
That was Blake Davis, the second place driver. We will now bring in the race winner and Brandon Biddy. Hey, Brandon, this is Bryce and the other Brandon in the booth. You got a copy, man? It's like
We got the wrong guy. It should be Terry.
Oh, I did not realize that. Oh, hey, Terry, this is Bryce in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir, Bryce. How you doing?
Confused is what I am. So I don't know why I dragged Brandon up here on accident. That was my bad. But what was going through your head that last lap and really that last corner? Because that was just weird to see.
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what was going through my mind. I just know on that caution lap that Blake got into me a little bit, and I think I hit the 41. I said, "Ain't no way the car is going to be junk." And then I seen everybody look like they were just running into each other for no reason. And then I just said, "You know what? Just go." And then I come out of 4. The first and second place got together, and I said, "There ain't no way I'm gonna win like this." But it is what it is, and I got him.
And so you qualified, ninth. So you didn't qualify horrible. however, you were below the cut line. So this puts you into the playoffs. So how does that make you feel?
Man, I feel that it is great feeling. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I knew that it had been close, and before that last call, before the caution, I done figured I done saved enough fuel where everybody else, I think everybody else, had to pit, and I had about 1.5 laps to the good, so I wasn't coming in. I was gonna stay out.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen there at the end, but were you worried about the tire difference, coming back to bite you? Because these cars evidently did handle a little bit different as the tires got more wear on them.
They did on that first caution. I don't know if anybody else did, but I took 4 tires.
And so I think it was a split between most of them, because we can watch the pit times. Yeah, some of them were low 11s and the other high ones were 15s. So some people took 4 tires, some people took 2 and full fuel.
I wasn't sure because I know there was a few people said they wasn't taking tires, and I said, "Well, at a caution, do you take tires? Do you don't?" And I just gambled on it. I took 4 tires.
Yeah, definitely did seem like it mattered, but did you think that you were going to have a shot there at the end, going through all those wrecks? Because there was 3 major wrecks there.
I did not, to be honest with you. And I just, especially after that last one, I got in the last caution. I said, there ain't no way. I go in here and use my fast repair, come back out. I don't know, hope and a prayer, I guess.
Well, looks like your prayer was answered. But before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, TNT Dynamics, my wife for letting me do what I love to do. Andrew, Racers Elite. I raced with them quite a bit before, wasn't quite good enough, still ain't. He called me and asked me if I'd like to join back up, and hats off to Racers Elite and what y'all do. I really enjoy racing with them.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go, but good job coming home with the win tonight, man.
All right. Thank you, Bryce. Enjoyed it.
That was Terry Fennell, the race winner. That was Interesting finish there, Brandon. I'll only go over the top three. So Terry Fennell wins his way into the playoffs. Second is Blake Davis, and third is Troy Thomas. God knows what happened after that, but what did you think of that, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, we seen a wild finish last week. We didn't really know what to say or how to really even call the finish, and then the same thing tonight. And so, yeah, I mean, all in all, the race actually was pretty good. You know, I mean, we seen tire wear become a thing. Fuel strategy was a thing. We had a couple late race cautions that kind of mixed the field up a little bit, and then we get to see, you know, Terry win his first one of the season being below the cut line. I think that might lock him in, provided he has enough races. So great job by those top three to be able to miss all the calamity and move forward and secure podium finishes for tonight. But all in all, what was a good race ended with a crazy finish.
Yeah, it definitely was a interesting finish there, but yeah, I didn't even know how to call that. I thought last week was odd, but evidently this week, well, it decided to one-up it. But I'm not going to keep y'all here any longer. Hopefully, I will see you all actually probably, I think tomorrow, I believe I'm doing a race for Racers Elite again. Then I'll see you all again on Friday. But I will let you all go now.